federal employees, Judge Ilston RIF update. Your top questions from yesterday answered. So federal workers, starting today or maybe later, a Ninth Circuit ruling could decide whether pink slip season starts Monday. So let's clear up the biggest questions you left overnight in plain English. So first question, what is going on? Okay, this is very complicated. For many of you, I just think knowing the bottom line is all you need to know. The bottom line up front is that the RIFs are currently paused. The Ninth Circuit's going to decide whether the RIFs will stay paused while the case plays out or whether the case will play out while the RIFs occur. If that happens and it's found to be illegal, they could be undone later. So are they going to stay in place while the case continues, or are they going to be allowed to continue? Second question, why are there two appeal dates? Well, right now, RIFs are paused. The Ninth Circuit's deciding on an emergency basis whether they'll remain paused as the case proceeds, and then the case still has to proceed. So the full appeal runs on a separate fast track. In that case, the opening brief is due June 20th, and the union's answer July 18th. There are paper deadlines for written arguments, not hearing dates. A 3-judge panel will rule after July 18th on the case as a whole, and then the government can sprint to the Supreme Court the same week. So a decision first of whether the RIF remains paused as that's considered will possibly happen today or tomorrow, and then merits briefs. Next, some people had questions about a June 2nd RIF notices and their FEHB retirement. Well, Judge Ilston's nationwide injunction still bars agencies from cutting anyone covered, even though slated for June 2nd as of the date I say this. Unless the panel changes that, and a ruling could be coming soon, so watch. If you're thinking about retiring to save your health insurance, which for some of you, under particular circumstances, might be the case, remember to keep your FEHB. You must retire before you separated, but you must already meet the 5-year coverage rule. Check into that. This is complicated to discuss generally. Next question, am I safe? I'm a 22-year VA employee, career conditional status. Well, 20 years in career conditional status, you sit in RIF tenure group 2. If cuts ever restart, regulations give you bumper retreat rights, meaning the agency must look for a lower graded job you're qualified for before it can sever you. But what happens will depend on how the VA structures the RIF. Not good that you're in category 2. Next, what about people already laid off or on admin leave? Well, the judge ordered reinstatement for everybody, but she paused that part while the appeal plays out. So if the injunction survives and the case is won, agencies will have to unwind the terminations, but if overturned, they won't. For now, that relief is paused. Second, a future scenario, what if the RIFs stay paused, but the injunction is later lifted and they're allowed to continue? Well, imagine a denied stay means frozen RIFs. If the Ninth Circuit or later the Supreme Court overturns the injunctions months from now and allows the RIFs to continue, agencies, I believe, must issue new RIF notices with fresh 60-day clocks. They can't retroactively fire you. That's straight from my reading of 5 CFR 351. So last, from some comments about my speed, I hear you. It is a balancing act at a higher speed. That's intentional a little bit in terms of getting served on social media. So I'm learning all this. Social media has some limitations, so we're learning. It's a balancing act, and I appreciate all of your feedback. Also, if it's too quick, you might want to get on our newsletter at fedlegalhelp.com/newsletter, and you can read more details. We'll post the videos along with details in writing. So it has the video you see here plus a written explanation. Also, follow us across social media for docket alerts. The panel could drop its order at any hour. Please share this with anyone holding a June 2nd letter. Knowledge is job security. So take care, stay safe, everyone, and thank you for your support.